Hey everybody, welcome back to Live Free and Tool On. Today is an awesome day because I've been waiting on this for a very long time. This is the Ryobi 40 volt HP rear tine tiller. Now this isn't just special to me, but this is special to the entire industry for one big reason. This is the first ever out of any brands, at least that I've seen and what I've heard in the news, first ever rear tine tiller that's battery operated, not just cord. So this is a pretty awesome machine. Ryobi's really jumped in here. They've jumped into the deep end. They're taking the gardening to the next level, and this is that level, especially for people that need to break new ground. So let's jump into the battery first. This comes with 4 6-amp hour batteries. That's huge just in itself because these are not cheap batteries for sure. Now let's talk about the cost. This machine is about $1,200, and these are part of that reason why it's so much money. So let's take a closer look down inside. You have 2 A's, 2 B's. Now this machine has to run on 2 batteries. You can't just run on one. The reason why is because, so this is not just a 40 HP, this is an 80 HP. Now the cool thing about this, if you take a look right here, see that arrow? That means it's using these 2 batteries here. If you take it out, look at that. It changes the circuit. Now the arrow is pointing this way and it uses these 2 batteries. So when you run out of these 2, you go to that 2. You get awesome performance out of this. Now, see right here? Minimum 2 40 volt batteries, minimum 2 40 volt batteries. And that's how they've gotten around this and working it. Now that's also your emergency switch. You pull that out. Now something I want to draw your attention right here is if you take a look at that, it's kind of hard to see. It's spring loaded. Now check this out. You have to really press it to get it down. You really have to press it to lock it in. And that goes for all 4 of these. Now I didn't know the reason for this when I first got the tiller, but I've been testing it out and that's what I really wanted to do before I showed you all this. So whenever you hit a bump or this really starts to jostle, to save itself, it'll actually pop the battery back up. And I believe that's based upon vibration for these batteries. So that's a really cool safety feature, very good practical engineering as well. Since this is a rear tine tiller, you need to have weight up front. This is your bull bar here, and this is for ballast. So you would put sand, lead, something hard in here that would actually help you counterbalance so you can pick this up. It'd make that just a little bit easier on you. So whenever you're maneuvering it around, that's where you really want it to be. So this is a cool feature that you can put things in and take it out. Some of the other traditional ones, they actually have iron that bolts onto this, which I guess you could probably do too. These wheels have aggressive traction that you would want to see. If we take a look at it to the top, it's about 13.5 inches. So these are 13.5 inch wheels. They do have a nice cotter pin that goes inside of here, or a shear pin, and that's really nice to have. Now for adjustments, depending on how tall you are, how comfortable you want it to be, you do have 3 different adjustments. If you pull this lever back, you can move it down or you can move it up, just like so. It'll lock in. The most practical position that I think is on the number 3 setting. So let's pull up this dirt shield. You can see this right here. This is the depth adjustment. You just have a pull. You can make this go up or down. Now the further it is up, the deeper that your tines are going to dig into the ground. Let's take a look at what that looks like inside. Now the shields, this actually keeps the door shield. It's a nice little place so it doesn't damage it, flats it. But on this side here, we'll lower it and you can see that it just digs into the ground. It keeps everything pulling down and it keeps these tines moving down as well so that you're going to dig into that ground. And that's pretty typical on a lot of units like this. We didn't really say anything about it, but this is a dirt shield, and what that's meant to do is keep everything inside of the unit. And it actually kind of scrapes and leaves a nice little, I guess, even path. So the shields on the side, this is really about whenever you're working deep or shallow, this is going to keep that, and this is what's going to keep everything from actually digging in, and this is going to protect from things flying out like rocks and things like that. So all you got to do is turn this, that slides up and down. So for our purposes, let's go ahead and keep that up so we can get a good look at these tines that are in here. Okay, so let's take a look at the business end of this unit. I actually have some roots wrapped in here. I have used it. I wanted to make sure that you all can see how this actually works and how it performs. Obviously, this root didn't slow it down any. So I broke new ground with it, so I really wanted to give this the best test possible. Let's see how big one of these tines are. So we stick this to the back. We go to the front. These are about 12-inch tines that are on here, maybe 13. Take a look at is that these do have shear pins. Now these are complete tines, 1 and 2. They don't come apart. So that what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to take them off as a whole tine instead of having multiple tines stacked up. It's going to give you a little bit more power, I believe, as well. But you can see this is what it looks like on the business side. 1 shear pin, 2 shear pins, and we can thank God for those shear pins that the engineers put those in here, and they put strong ones in because it did save this machine. If I didn't have the shear pin in here, I would have damaged these tines, or I would have damaged the gears, or even the motor for that matter. But the shear pin did its job, and I'm very happy for that. So great to have that. Now let's just talk about the quality construction. This is all steel. There is nothing plastic under here, which is really good. You wouldn't want plastic under here. The business end is all metal. The tines, they do spin backwards, and that's what you want for new ground breaking. So it spins this way, it doesn't spin this way. That's very typical of rear tine tillers, but I will say a lot of the traditionals, you can switch the gearing going this way or this way. So let's just take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the controls here. Over on this side, you're going to see you have the power button. If you press that, you pull up this handle. That means the entire unit's going to run. The tines are going to spin and the wheels are going to turn. So, but if you're just transporting it, you have a transport mode. You press this button right here, boop, and that means that the wheels will turn, but the tines won't spin, so you can get it wherever you're going. This right here is your speed dial, so you press it up, you go as fast as this thing can go, and if you want to go backwards and reverse, then you pull it up and it can go in reverse as well. Now something to note is that when you're in reverse, the tines do not spin. Alright, so we've talked about it enough, let's put it into action. All right, everybody, so let's talk a little bit about the battery life and how much work you can actually do with the 4 6-amp-hour batteries. Remember that 2 of the 6-amp-hour batteries at 40 volts, they're actually wired so it's 80 volts. So I have 3 30-inch wide rows. Now these are triple tilled right here. They're all 50 feet long. So that gives you a really good idea of the type of work that you can do. Now I live in the Granite State, and this is all rock, so this is really hard, and it's uphill coming this way. We also tilled 4 more short rows, 3, those are 20-foot rows, and then 1 20-foot row that we extended down at the bottom of the actual garden. So I did deplete all of the batteries. Now I'm not going to go by time because you can't do that, because it depends on how much work you're doing it when you're doing it, but I was able to do all of this on 1 charge of the battery. These other 3 rows right here, we did those previously, and you probably saw those in other videos, but we just tilled these up. Now let's talk about the strength of the tines. This is one of the rocks that came out of the ground. It may be hard to see. You can see all the marks on it on both sides. See the marks on that? These are about 7-inch rocks by 4-inch rocks, and these are both granite. Super hard rocks, but you know what? The tiller hit these, brought them up out of the ground, and the tines are still here, so super strong. The only thing I have to say about this is it's incredible. This is not a beast of a machine. This is a monster of a machine. I have never worked with a machine this capable and work that hard consistently and not fail. Now, typical companies, whenever they come out with a first version of a tool, now this is the first rear tine tiller ever made that's battery powered, not a plug-in. And I have never said this before, but I don't think that you're going to get better than this. The perfection on this is absolutely incredible. I don't think any other companies are even going to touch this. The strength of the tines to be able to churn those big rocks up and not break. The safeties of the shear pins to protect the tines in the machine are awesome. I think the cues that the engineers took in order to make this on the usability of it is incredible. The fact that you don't have to maintain this and change the oils and the filters and all that, it's a game changer. I think that the 80-volt molders in this are next level strong. I have not felt anything this powerful, and the torque that you're getting out of this, it just tears the ground apart. I can't believe it. So let's focus on the manufacturing real quick. The manufacturing, this is an all metal body. The welds are great. Nothing rattled loose. They have dust protected connections for your electrical switches. Its comfort, the ergonomics of it are great. I think this machine is the machine. I know I sound a lot excited and I keep saying these things over and over, but I just can't believe how awesome this machine is. I hope that everybody enjoyed this video. I hope that it was a little bit enlightening as well to see just how good that this can do. If you did enjoy it, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. There's a little bell down there. Do me a favor, hit that. That's the notification bell, so you know when my videos actually come out. And I really hope to see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.